blurring the lines between real life and Second Life. Bringing you in-depth information about the people behind the avatars. Giving you insight like you've never heard before. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fourth Wall with Paul and BK.
Hello everybody, I am the scumbag superstar Paul Slater, and welcome back to another edition of the Fourth Wall. I'm here alongside my podcast partner BK and his lovely partner Z. And BK, we have a very special guest today, BK.
Absolutely. One, I was actually excited to get in here because no matter where this person goes, it's always a good time.
Always a good time. And I'm speaking none other. You can see her at BCW, LPW, and soon to be Primal Pro Wrestling. I'm speaking to none other than Sparkzy. Sparkzy, welcome to the Fourth Wall.
Hey, thank you all for having me. I'm excited. Thank you.
See how excited he got? He almost put you in a different fed.
I almost put you in a different fed.
It's all good.
Okay,
It's all good.
Okay, Sparksy, we're going to get right down to this, okay?
Yes.
So, you have been known for several characters. You've been known for Banshee, you've been known as Sparkzy, and you've been known as Tristan.
Yes.
So, out of all of these characters that you've been, which one was the one that you hold nearest and dearest to your heart, the one that you put all of your effort into because you wanted that one particular character to be the standout?
Oh, the Banshee, like hands down, like without a doubt. But I will say, with all of the gimmicks that I have done, like as Banshee, as Tristan Fang, as Ellie Embers before the Banshee gimmick actually was formed, I always put heart and soul into all of my gimmicks because I enjoy everything that I do when it comes to making the characters. It's such fun. It feels like a theater to me, and I enjoy it, and I always give it 110% with all of my characters.
Well, we had real quick. You had some heat with us. You had some heat with us in Fusion when we did the Insidious thing and we debuted. You're like, I remember you're sending a message. And you're like, really? I'm like, hey, we're doing something totally different. We're like basically devil worshippers. It's nothing to do with the Banshee. So we're all good.
I do remember that, and I'm just like, is Banshee going to have to cut a bitch?
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Did you ever forgive us, or did you ever simply say, okay, I see, I jumped the gun a little bit?
No, I definitely forgave, but I forgave, but I'll never forget.
That was scary.
Okay. Right? Okay, so now here, and when I say this, please understand, it's only because I want to understand, all right? Mm-hmm. Now, you are very open about your sexuality in real life, and nobody has an issue with that whatsoever. But the question that I have is, when you came into SL and you got into the wrestling, was it comfortable? Were you comfortable enough to come out to let people know, or was it something that you had to gradually work your way into? Because with people with being from so many different walks of life and basically SL is not as big as people think it is. With so many people being in that realm, were you afraid of how you'd be accepted and perceived, or did you just come out and say, "Look, this is me, accept it or don't, I don't care"?
Totally. It definitely. I wasn't 110% like open about everything, because I originally started being in Second Life as my female avatar, Ellie Embers, aka the Banshee, because behind the screens you just hear the voice, and a lot of the time when I was younger, like you wouldn't be able to clock me. You would just instantly think that I'm just some Brit chick and I'm a woman in their 20s, but I wasn't. I was a 17-year-old gay male on a female avatar because he was too chicken shit to actually admit that he was gay, because he has this voice that was very, pretty much kind of like a big like curse in my real life like history. So I still get that to this day about my voice, because now growing up I have, like, you probably wouldn't imagine this, I am a big burly guy, big beard and everything, and yet I sound like the bearded lady. But
Okay.
but I will say, like, gradually over time, when I was meeting a lot of people who could relate to me throughout SL, when I was wrestling in my first years in DCWF, I was more comfortable and more opening when I was finding my communities within Second Life. There was a fairy community, there was the SLPW community. Gradually over time, I was able to feel like, okay, I can relax with these people. They aren't going to judge me for what I am. Okay, guys, I'm a gay man. I'm not a chick. Wait, surprise us out.
Okay, so back to the voice thing.
Yes.
Now, I asked you this the other day when we got done recording one of our episodes, and now we're going to get this on record. Now, I know you know this because I reminded you, but until I reminded you the other day, did you actually remember how you first introduced yourself the first time I ever was in a roster call with you?
Oh, God. Remind me?
Okay, so this is what you did. Now, at the time, the Fed that we were in, you were Tristan, okay?
Yes.
And you come in, and there was a lot of us that did not know you. And instead of you coming in and saying, "Hey guys, I'm Tristan. I'm from the UK. Glad to meet you all," you popped your little ass in there and went, "Hi, I'm Paige from WWE." Do you remember that? And then on top of that, and I never called you out on it because I always thought it was funny. But then it wasn't long after that that they were doing. I think somebody was streaming a pay-per-view, and
Yes.
you had popped in there to watch it, and you accidentally hit your camera, so it shared your video camera, and that's when we actually got to see that you were actually a guy, which it didn't bother anybody. And I looked, and I went, "That fucker just convinced me he was a woman."
And I'm
And
still doing that to this day on every game that I play. Okay.
that was my introduction to you.
Are you still confused?
Not as confused as you are.
Well.
Okay, so now, obviously you're a fan in real life, so you come into SL, you discovered wrestling, and you have been, like you said, the female character, you've been a male character, and you've also been a furry character.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which, and when I say this, I'm trying to use the correct word, so I'll just say the word species, human and furries, the way that it's categorized, and I apologize if I'm wrong. But when it came down to it, which of the feds, which of the areas, maybe I should say, do you feel most comfortable? Do you feel more comfortable as a furry because they are so, I mean, honestly, they're so accepting, they are so, so open-minded about everything, or are they kind of on par, is the human side of it equal with them on that?
Well, truth be told, to be honest with me, when it comes to how I feel comfortable in which side of the SL wrestling and all that, to be brutally honest, I'm perfectly comfortable in either side. But to be honest, with Sparkzy, Sparkzy is me. Outside the SL wrestling and everything, I am a furry through and through, and I am Sparkzy as my furry as well. So I am more comfortable in as Sparkzy because Sparkzy is literally a piece of me. But regardless of how I feel, if I feel comfortable in the human fed or the furry fed, there is really no levels of which one's better, which one is the least. Because to be honest, I'm perfectly fine with what I wrestle as. Female, male, furry. I don't really have a preference. It's just my way of just having fun and just wanting to entertain people. I don't really have a preference, really, no.
So you started. Okay. So you've been a fan. You were a fan of SL wrestling prior to even joining, right?
Yep.
So how did you find SL wrestling, and who were some of your people that you watched a lot, like that you looked up to, or who you watched, and who you wanted to emulate in some ways, I guess, to be a wrestler?
Now you can't count. Now you can't count. You can't count following me and Paul because you're on the show about your promos. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, no. So I have, because obviously I've been doing SL for 9 years, and literally in February will strike my actual 9-year anniversary as a wrestler. I'm nearing a decade. Wouldn't think I would see the day. But I actually was aware of Second Life Wrestling back when I was 10 years old, actually, through my real life parent, who Eric knows fully well. I see you in the chat. Their name is Ali Christensen, who was a wrestler in the stable Prodigy with Jen F. Parkin and Mobicha in the very first like proper SL wrestling community federation, which was SLCW.
Okay. So you were part. I'd say you were part of SLCW. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say I wasn't part of. Well, I was theoretically in the federation later down the line, about 10 years afterwards, to be in DCWF, which was SLCW at the time. But I was always watching. How I was always watching the shows, it was through my SL mother's, aka RL father's, computer. Every time, I remember thoroughly, very well how everything was going down, because this was 2008. No one had really high fiber optic internet. So, and then there was me, my 10-year-old self, playing my MMO games, which at the time was City of Heroes. Rest in peace. But I would always hear my dad knocking on the door, saying knocking in, I need you to come off the computer. I'm like, oh, why is that, Dad? It's like, oh, because I'm going to be wrestling tonight. I need the connection. So I'm like, can I watch? And he was like, oh, for God's sake, fine. So I've always been watching through my dad's computer. I was watching on the edge of his desk chair. He would be wrestling, which his biggest feud for me that I enjoyed thoroughly was him as Ali Christensen versus a very old SL pro wrestling legend, Harley Tigerpaw. Her and Ali was one of my favorites to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed. But I would always thoroughly enjoy how the Prodigy stable would always stand out back in the days. And there's also other ones that I used to watch through Ali, which was people like Mizaki. There was obviously Jen F. Parkins. There was Mobicha. There was also Catherine Blackadder, aka Whisker Savage, at the time. And it was a very short-lived time watching my dad, because he only was in the wrestling business for like a year. It got to the point where I do believe there was going to be a chance where the fans wanted Ali to go against Catherine for the championship at the time. But then things happened. Dad wasn't able to carry through and ended up just stopping wrestling due to RL situations. So that was my gateway to the SL pro wrestling when I was younger. So when I got of age, I decided, you know what? I'm going to try Second Life Pro Wrestling. I want to see what it's all about. I want to see if it's still alive. And lo and behold, I came to see, thinking SLCW was gone. I thought it was, obviously, I wasn't aware that it had changed the name due to copyright claims. So then I went to DCWF, finding people like Numbers Rossini. I saw Catherine Blackadder in the flesh. I was in shell shock fan mode. I was like, I've watched you. I love you. So it was an amazing moment for me to then broaden my knowledge and people realizing that I actually was watching stuff at this time. It got to the point where I came back into the wrestling when I actually became a wrestler in DCWF, which is when I was able to shed light about my RL past with Ali Christensen, which then ended up getting her a spot in the Hall of Fame at DCWF years back. So,
wow. So it's pretty safe to say that you're basically maybe one of the first second generation wrestlers on SL Wrestle. Did your dad was a? You said your father was a wrestler in SL. Now you are, right? So it's basically your second generation.
And you also said it. And you also said it was your real life dad. It wasn't one of those things where we met. It was my SL dad. You're talking about real life. So I mean, Paul has a point. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, we've mentioned it quite a few times. A lot jokingly. It got to the point where I actually made a story about Ellie being Ali's daughter, making myself a second generation wrestler in the times during VWE. And to this day, I think I am the only person who actually is wrestling because of their RL relative, their RL parent. There are some in the SL community who I know who are real life brothers and sisters, because we have people like the Carsons, and there's also, I think there is another one I can't quite remember. I think it's Christina and Cody Hewley. I could be wrong, but out of everybody, real life wise, I think I'm the only one who has been a descendant. So from generation to generation to actually play Second Life as a wrestler.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Actually, that really is. Eric Stewart said, he said legacy wrestler, you're possibly the only one. Now, like with my story, mine's the opposite. I didn't know about SL wrestling until at the time, my RL son came in. Everybody knows the story. I told it before. Got into it and then brought me into it. And then I stayed into it while after he got out of SL. So that's kind of a reverse thing. But I mean, that's, who would ever thought that your real life dad would have gotten you into SL wrestling?
To be honest, I honestly did not think I would be coming into SL wrestling, because I thought it was like 9 years ago. Is there a chance of it being alive? Because I remember Eric saying this will be about a year, about 3 more years, maybe about 5 years, and now here we are, going nearly 2 decades of wrestling. I think Eric was underestimating what SL pro wrestling was about.
Well, it's probably one of the few times that Eric Stewart would actually admit that he's wrong and be happy that he was wrong.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Okay, so through your characters, you said that the one that really stood out to you was Banshee, and then, like I said, we've named a couple of the other ones.
Yep.
So here's going to be one for you, and I know this is going to be a long answer. Going through each character, it doesn't matter which order you go in, but going through your 3 characters, which, going to make you think about it. Out your 3 characters, which feud did you have with each of them that stood out that you wish that could have continued?
Oh, okay. So this is actually a very quick, easy answer. So I'll start with my female avatar, which is the Banshee. My most favorite feud that I ever had with the Banshee, it would have to go to my feud in VWE, and it was my fatal 4-way feud with Maxine Fireguard, Marcy Schaefer, and Kitty Lovencraft. The 4 of us, we were doing so much crazy shit that I think we would not have dreamed of doing. The amount of times Maxine would always make me a knockoff Sylvanas Windrunner Banshee from World of Warcraft. And I still live to this day. That is the best read I've ever had when it came to the Banshee. So Maxine, my hat to you, darling. Kitty, she was an absolute sister of mine. I enjoyed everything that we did. Before I was in before I was in VWE, before I was getting thoroughly put in, Vince Easterwood introduced me to Kitty, basically wanting to explain about her fed, which was a DIE, which unfortunately is closed down for quite some time now.
I remember that fed.
Yeah, it got to the point where we actually ended up doing some exhibition matches at Pulse of VWE at the time. And then Marcy was just getting into the game as well before Ellie Embers was known as the Banshee. and she and I went into a big feud after the Fatal 4-Way, which went to Wrestle Series for the WWE Women's World Championship. And I remember making the hype videos for both the Wrestle Series match for me and Sass and the Fatal 4-Way hype video for me, Kitty, Marcy, and Maxine. To this day, I keep looking at my videos of the feuds that I've done and my favorite ones, and that Fatal 4-Way video I made for us constantly gives me goosebumps all the time. Now, Tristan, this is an absolute no-brainer. I don't think anyone will be surprised if they've known my FPW times. You guys probably know who I'm going to say.
Neon.
Yes.
I remember.
Okay.
I knew that was it. Remember that match we called on comms, and they had to fill the body parts out on the. It was
the cyber switcheroo. Yes.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was and what always caught me about that one was Neon playing basically playing a cyborg is what he was doing. But when he was doing that, what was it? He had a match that we called, and every time he did something, he was short-circuiting, and they actually had his avatar jolting and jerking around like he was being electrocuted and whatnot. That was some of the craziest stuff I had ever personally called in SL wrestling, other than the Trey Steele falling into the goo at some kind of at an X match, and he ended up coming out of it wearing some kind of Superman-like suit.
Yeah, that was Chase the Sun, I believe, when you guys had that match. It was that big first that first super card that Fusion had.
The Chase the Sun, yeah, that was where we had the switcheroo match. Yes,
yeah, that was cool.
But the feud with me and Neon that lasted for several free previews. I remember. It started from Chase the Sun, it went to Honor the Forces, it went up to 'Twas the Night Before Fusion. I think it nearly went for, if I'm not mistaken, 3/4 of a year between me and Neon.
Now see, and that's the way storylines should go. They should stretch out, not just be for like 1 or 2 cycles, because sometimes you can tell great stories if you just let them develop.
Yeah, okay. It was great.
Okay, so speaking of the Neon feud, now when I bring this up, I'm not trying to be disrespectful and I'm not trying to break up a sore subject, but it's something that I always wondered. There was this big deal going around about a term that was used by Neon towards you. I'm not going to repeat what the term is, but anybody that's familiar, I understand that it is a acceptable term within the Pride community to an extent. So now, if you want to go ahead and tell the people what it is, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to because I don't know the correct context to use it. But my question is did you two agree to that, or was it something that he just slipped out basically, at the moment and it caught on? Because I know there was a bunch of people that some were okay with it and some wasn't okay with it. How did all that happen?
Well, I mean, he ain't wrong. he ain't wrong. I'm starting right off there. He ain't wrong. I am to this day, and I will stand by it. I am, and I will say, I am a bottom bitch. But okay. No, he said that to me during a Discord call. We were just like jokingly about making sort of things because he and I was going back and forth with promos where I would hack the Trench bank account and doing stuff like that in video promos. And then it would end up doing the Neon would do it back sort of things. And he made it got to a point where he was saying that all my money that he hacked from me was from Tristan Fang's OnlyFans.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of went from there, and
oh, geez.
He then made the comment on me being a bottom bitch because I don't have any money and all that, but I took it the sexual way, and I was like, we are saying this, I don't care, I'm happily a bottom bitch, I will happily have you insult me as a bottom bitch.
I remember. I remember when we were on me and BK and myself were on comms when that happened, and we kind of were like, oh, I don't know if we should like repeat that.
Yeah, we were just kind of like, cause and I'm like, I actually think it was recorded. I think we both kind of went, not me. I'm not doing that. Yeah, because I did not want to get it. I mean, I knew I'd be reading it, and I knew it'd be okay, but at the same time,
I mean,
you see what Eric just said?
I want
to see Sparky's try with a straight face to argue that they aren't. Well, he just admitted.
I am nothing but a bottom bitch. I am not a top. I refuse. I will refuse to argue with a straight face that I am not a bottom bitch because I am, and I am not going to apologize for it.
Good for you.
Yep.
Good for you. Don't take this the wrong way, but you do you. But
yeah, exactly. You don't have to apologize to nobody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am a bottom bitch, but I'm also that bitch. So that's end of story. Period. With a capital T.
Okay, so since you just come out and said you're that bitch, in all honesty, can you? And when I say this, I'm going to be embellishing a little bit. But could you seriously, in your head, come up with a number of how many times that you were doing like a promo as Tristan and something just happened and the promo kind of went off the rails and all of a sudden you wanted to put Sparkzy into it? You wanted to bring Sparkzy out and say, look here, bitch, this is what's going to happen. Has that ever happened to you where you had to restrain yourself?
Well, funnily enough, Sparkzy never was actually an SL wrestler or a gimmick in SLPW when Tristan Fang was Tristan Fang in the Fusion days. Sparkzy has been a wrestler for about 3 years now. But when it came to Tristan, I funnily enough, this is ironic. Like, had to play up a butch a bit, play a bit more of a butch, which is totally not me. But I was more like held back. I was holding myself back more as Tristan. But I was still able to make the innuendos and the gay jokes, and I had no problem with it because people would get a kick out of it. I mean, I will never forget. I will never leave this insult down. I will keep this one, as I say. I will always, forever call Neon a little spoon. Benja's little spoon.
Benja's little spoon.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know this story. I got to hear this.
Well, it was at the time Neon, Benja, Baza, they were the trench bros at the time at FPW with Poffo, and it got to the point where they were always side by side interfering, which they still do to this day because they can't be able to wrestle on their own. But that's trench. But it was always Benja that would always hang around with Neon, and it was so fun to do. I mean, I will never forget the moment when Benja threw me into a Pepsi vending machine, and then Neon would a shotgun drop kick me into it, and I will never forget this moment where I actually made the vending machine just spew out cans after cans after cans of Pepsi all on the floor. and then I remember Benja falling straight flat on his ass on one of those cans during that, and it was just the best moment. That everyone was laughing their heads off about it. Comms could not breathe. Crystalia could not breathe. It was just awesome. And in those moments, which was then when I had the moment with Neon, there was a point where we were doing a ground and pound constantly back and forth, making insults on live mic, and then I don't know what made me say it, but when he called me a bottom bitch again, I took over with a ground and pound, and and this is the actual quote, so it went, "The only bottom bitch is you with your daddy Benja."
Oh, damn.
And then I stood up and said, "What's the matter, little spoon? Can't take a hit."
Oh my god. Oh, Jesus.
And everyone died. Everyone was.
Oh my god!
I think me and Neon, aka Drewski, will still say without a doubt, like heart to heart, that is probably one of the biggest highlights of our feud and our favorite of that feud.
Well, we have Drewski lined up to come on the show soon, so we're going to ask him about all this stuff.
Oh, good.
Oh, absolutely, we are. Yeah,
He's
once
probably-
you come
he's
on,
probably
this,
gonna be
once you
like-
come on, go ahead. He's going.
He's probably gonna get his voice on and go like, "I'm not a little spoon."
You got to realize once you come on this show and once you open up the can of worms and you start giving out names and stories like that, first chance we get, we're going to get their side of it too, because you can't just listen to one side of the story.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so now you said what you mentioned on Banshee and you mentioned on Tristan. What your favorite feuds, and I guess Sparkzy is still in the wrestling world, still in all honesty kind of young if you think about it.
Yes.
Since Sparksy's kind of young and basically is up and coming in the ranks and everything, who would you like to see Sparkzy be in a storyline and a feud with?
Oh, okay. Well, I will say for Sparkzy to this day, he has had some storylines. The only one I can really say that I enjoyed thoroughly the most, which ironically enough was with Drewski again, UFW, with his border collie, his dog avatar, Tonka, the maestro. But if I would say any of the wrestlers that I would be excited to do a feud with, I would have to say I would be choosing people such as Baza, Maker Grey Cloak, SMF, and I would love to do a feud with potentially, if it ever comes up, which I hope, Cody Hooley.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Okay, that's some good names. Wow, that's a hell of a list, to be honest.
I mean,
with you.
pretty much. I mean, you're in BCW now as Sparkzy, right? I mean, I've seen you there a few times. You got I love that gimmick. And who are you feuding with now? Like who you're in BCW alone? Like, where do you see yourself in BCW going as far as feuding with in the future? Do you think?
Oh, feuding wise, I would have to say in the BCW, I would want to say, oh, this is a toughie because there are so many good opportunities.
Absolutely, that's why I asked. Yeah, there's a lot of good talent in BCW.
Way to put a bitch on the spot. I would definitely have to say if they would be up for it, TJ Valator.
TJ Bellator. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
There's somebody. Chrissy said out a suggestion. She said you are Sparkzy versus Jack Campion.
Oh, we actually had a match at the last BCW free preview last year, and that was actually quite a fun one to do. That was my first match with them, and I really enjoyed their wrestling style and how they portray themselves as a character. So I feel like that would also be a fun story to do for sure. But
Okay,
out of people that I've not really properly wrestled with and want to do a story, definitely TJ.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like I said, you got a lot of names out there, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I was out of SO Wrestling for a while, and so was Paul, and we do our best to get around and so that we're not just in a little bubble and we're only paying attention to one or two things. So there's some names there that I'm not familiar with. That falls on me.
TJ was the commentator, and he turned wrestler now, right, Sparkzy?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Oh, over at UF
At BCW, TJ was
Oh,
their
at BCW,
he was their
okay.
main he was their main comms for a while. Now he switched over to wrestling now.
Ah,
it was
okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
TJ's a good
VWE
guy.
as well. Yeah, VWE, he also is commentary as well.
Yeah.
He does a lot of announcing as well.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, so Sparksy, what? And you can, and I'm sure there's been different things on all three of your characters as we've been talking about. But in your opinion, what, and it doesn't matter, you can say all three of them, you can say one of them, however you want to do this, but what has been one regret that you've had for your characters? Like maybe you turned down a storyline, or you didn't, maybe you didn't pull it off the way you thought you were going to, and you wish you'd go back and do it again because you would have done it differently. Which stands out as something that if you had a do-over, you would take it?
Oh, I definitely would have to say it was something between a storyline with me as the Banshee, I think I would say. There back in Fusion Pro Wrestling, the very first sort of feud was starting up with me against Becky. My biggest regret, I would have to say, regarding that was like I felt like I was holding myself a lot back, but I can tell that Becky was trying to really inspire me to do more freaky shit, more spooky shit, and everything. We did get the chance of doing a Phasmophobia inspired promo video, which we thoroughly enjoyed doing. Fusion Pro Wrestling was completely blacked out. All she could see was her with a torch. But I would say I would love to have done a lot more of that with Becky. But if there was one thing that I would have definitely regretted, in a match, would have been at my Wrestle Series at VWE, learning how lag works because it got to the point where Banshee was going to be summoned by her sisters. The animation did not work. I was stuck under the bloody ring for 3 minutes. The Tron had to be played again. I had to log off and bring everything back. And then after 5 minutes of my intro going, I finally got on the bloody stage going down the ramp. But I will never forget this moment. They do call me a witch for this reason at VWE, because they thought as soon as I brought myself back up after that 5 minutes, I gave Stuart Wolf and Seth Cameron the biggest heart attack, because they all of a sudden had objects being returned from them from the old sim, thinking I had just returned the whole entire Wrestle Series arena.
Oh, wow.
I remember the Becky feud. I remember that Becky feud in Fusion. That was pretty good. You threw her off the cage. I think the one you threw her off the cage, and then she played like she was retiring, and if I remember that correctly.
Yes.
Okay, so if a booker, and let's say you wasn't in a Fed, let's say you had no ties to a Fed, okay, and a booker were to walk up to you and say, "Hey, we want you to," and it doesn't matter who it is. We'll go with Tristan and Banshee because they're the two of your two oldest ones. They come up to you and say, "Hey, we got this thing doing. We want to do a one-off show, and we're wanting to do, just a whole great big thing. You can bring Tristan and Banshee in, and you can pick your opponent and what kind of match it is. Who and what would it be?"
Oh, okay. This is easy. It would be, so it would be a tag match, and I would be more than happy for LPW to have the Banshee tagging with Omen against, I would love it to be against Valkyrie and potentially Luca Cross. 4 Titans going at it in a tag match. I feel that would be catastrophically amazing.
Is the fucking building going to be big enough for that?
I don't know. I mean, if
it would have to
be,
ring... it would have to be. In all honesty, what they would have to do with something like that is just put you in an outdoor arena Don't worry about building a ring. Just put up some posts, put up some mats, and just let you all go at it. Screw the bouncy mat, screw the ring aprons. Just put some post rings in an outdoor arena. That's the only thing that would hold that.
Oh, see, there was me giggling about the Banshee just then.
That's very easy for you to do, isn't it?
It's just naturally, my giggle is just naturally Banshee, just like...
That's creepy.
See, I thought,
easy.
Yeah, it really is if you think about it. But the whole time I thought that you were doing that intentionally because of the character. But I didn't realize that was your natural. I didn't know that just was how you giggled, how you laughed.
Absolutely, it's one of my many giggles. One of my many giggles and cackles and just downright what the hell. Oh, not to mention the snorts as well. I do giggle snort.
Don't do that because if you start that's going to get Z started.
Oh God!
Yeah, don't start giggle snorting.
Okay, I can't promise.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick, short sponsor break. And if you have any questions that you do not wish to actually ask of Sparkzy, make sure that you get into Z's DM and have her to ask them for you. Or if you do have a question you wish to voice, just let her know, hey, I want to voice my question, and she will get to you in just a moment. Aran's Domain is a SL-themed server for friends, family, and the SL wrestling community. They have all sorts of channels and categories that may pique your interest and are currently tied to several other feds in the SL community, whether Rain works there or not. They do show their support for the family in the best way that they can. If you wish to become a member and join us, feel free to ask herself or Chrissy LPW, or known as Limitless Pro Wrestling. Catch them at 12 p.m. SLT on Sundays. Premier Wrestling. Attitude, Mondays at 1 p.m. SLT. All Victory Wrestling, or AVW, Wednesdays 4 p.m. SLT. Overload, Thursdays 1 p.m. SLT. Unplugged, Saturdays at 1 p.m. SLT. And Rise, Sunday at 2 p.m. SLT. All of our sponsors' Discord links can be found in the description below. All right, and we are back. Z, do we have anything for Sparkzy?
So far, I do not have any questions for Sparks.
So in other words, instead of asking the questions, they're just over here talking in open mic and hoping that we catch what they say.
Either that, or they're just so fascinated and amused by all the conversation that's going on that questions just aren't popping into their head at this moment.
Well, it's either that or, like what was it when we talked to Eric and we talked to Derek and when we talked to LG and all that, about your accents and all that, it could be the same thing. They may just be fawning over, Sparkzy's accent and the giggle.
It's always the British.
Kimberly Smith just said she had one.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
we do.
All right, what do we got?
Okay, let me get back over to this. But I was in the process of answering them in that chat, so I have to go back to the DM to see the question.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Kimberly would like to know, can we get Tristan versus Neon versus Chris Crossfade? Some sort of hacking match at some time, please.
Oh my God.
Please tell me you just did not have an orgasm on open mic.
No.
It did sound like it.
It sure sounded like it.
If people have known me long enough to the point where I always do that Vine. Oh my God, with the oh my God, I always do that.
Oh God.
But absolutely, I mean, if we want to add a fourth person, I think there is one person that we have to bring in. It's been brought up multiple times when it comes to the three of us, because we need to get a certain bruh in that fatal four-way, and that would be K-Pow as well. That would be awesome.
Oh, wow. I just can't believe you said. Okay, so here, now, I don't remember if you were in here when we were actually speaking to Baza and Derek and Eric. But one of the things that we are considering doing, and we're right now in the beginning stages of, is that we are planning and we are stepping towards putting together a Fed fundraiser show. We're not doing a charity event for anything outside of SL right now. Um, how about you see what you can do about putting your dream match together and performing over there at our when we get ready to do it?
So the dream match with which one are we talking
Any
about?
of
We talking
them.
about oh.
Either one of them. How about you see if you can get that match together, and then once we get everything sorted out and we start seeing how we're going to do it and where we're going to have it and how it's all going to be set up and everything. How about if you come and perform for that, but you perform the dream match you want?
Oh well, if that's the case, then as she would put it, thy wish has been granted.
Oh.
Oh.
So speaking of, I have a question. Speaking of special shows, you have one you do on Halloween every year, right?
Yes,
You wanna talk about
hosted.
that?
Yeah, so hosted by the Banshee herself. It's the Hallows Twilight Ball. It's the charity show that I do because Brooke has hers, which is Victorious. I have mine that is Banshee themed, respectfully, called the Hallows Twilight Ball. And the charity that we always do for that one, without fail, is for AKT, which is called ACT. It's basically a LGBT home help services for basically raising funds to help LGBT members who are in hostile homes or not even in a home to get them sheltered and to be in a safe place. It means a lot to me because there was a time where I was in a case of hostility in the place that I used to live in back in the day after leaving my parents' house, and I was at risk of losing everything. AKT I actually found AKT and they came to my help in getting me out of the area that I was in, because at the time I was living in a town in Swindon, which was incredibly hostile. The area was not the best, but AKT came to my aid and helped me out and finding me a safe place until I found my community, and then I was then able to go out on my own and live with my friends, who I lived for about 2 years. But the Hallows Twilight Ball was always, I aim always on Halloween night. And it's kind of got like a theme to it now where the last two ending matches is always a battle royale, and the remaining participants that are in both matches end up being crowned queen and king and queen of the Blood Ball. And it's been quite a good staple. I didn't do it the first year for Hallows Twilight Ball, but then the second, third, and fourth, I've been doing it, and it went off without a hitch. And I've just thoroughly enjoyed doing it and been able to give back to a community and to a charity that helped me.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a personal charity that you experienced yourself and use. I think that's awesome that you're giving back to it.
Oh, absolutely. And, Paul and I were having we were having a conversation not too long ago, as a matter of fact. And please understand this is nothing against you, but I do understand, I can kind of understand how hard it would be. But you hear so much about people in SL who do these charity events and do these fundraisers, and the money never goes to where it's supposed to go. And I know that is a very hard stigma for people to get past, because when it comes to SL, you hear a lot of horror stories. Nobody hardly ever wants to talk about the good stuff of SL. They want to talk about what we would consider the seedy side or maybe the underbelly of SL, and that unfortunately is part of it. How have you managed over all this time to maintain to do this and been able to say, look, I'm doing what I'm saying doing, here's the proof, so that people don't clump you with basically with the misfits?
So I personally feel like there's, when it comes to how people obviously pick things out, they always pick the negative. There's a lot of times where the negative always overshadows like the positive things. As a community, I even stated this last night in my little tribute last night at LPW. We are a community. We're all here collectively doing what we enjoy. We're here to wrestle. We're here to have fun. We are a community. Why should we have to make things about the negatives? There's no need. There is no need. We are on a virtual world where we are here to have fun, to enjoy, to just fuck shit up in the ring. It's to me, it's just unnecessary drama that is not needed. And I understand where people feel like, oh well, where's the proof and all that. And if people want people to give them proof, then people like that are just intimidated, or they're just trying to stir things. Why should people have to give anyone proof of them giving out their donations after a charity? Why should we have to do that? It's those sort of things that make, where I would like to say to me, well, I would make this quote, that's none of your damn business.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm with you on that. You shouldn't have to prove it. However, that old saying about one bad apple spoils a bunch. But in this case, not you, but this particular instance, this topic that we're talking about, there's been more than one person, and I know it's been extremely difficult, or I'm sure it has been extremely difficult. I don't know, I'm not there, for you to step away from that and say, you know what, I am legitimate, and and I'm doing the right thing. And that's what I was saying, is it had to be a little bit more harder because you came in later, like you were talking about, in '09, and some things that already happened before. So, and it's just been kind of a process ever since. I know it's been an uphill battle for you.
Yeah. It throughout my whole entire SL career, like, it has been like a uphill battle. Through physically and mentally, in my years, but I've so far I've not had to deal with that sort of conspiracy, and I would like to keep it that way because I'm a bitch of my word. But I am also unapologetically me. I will say how things are. I will say how I say things. I will say what is on my mind. I am a bitch with no filter. But if people want to go ahead and try to pressure things and stuff like that, I'm like, there's no point. But there are times where if people want me to show receipts, like, I will put my hand up to it and I will show the receipt for this year's Hello Swallow Ball if people want me to. But
yeah, like I said, you shouldn't have to, but I know, with things that have happened, you do, and I'm sure you would, to show that you're on the up and up. But but I'm, like I said, I know it hadn't been easy, but I do commend you for what you do, and you are
Absolutely.
supporting a charity that you, in real life, have had to depend upon, and you're giving back, and that I 100% stand up and applaud you for that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you. I mean, I can understand why people feel like sometimes they would like people to show it, because obviously some people have had some past of that sort of thing, conspiracies and all that. But at the end of the day, I know in my heart that I'm doing the right thing. I'm here to have fun, and I'm here to make people laugh, entertain. And if I get any chance to do anything for a charity, for a person who maybe passed away, I did that last night, and I was very vocal with how this person was an inspiration to me through my life. I'm trying not to tear up about it because I was a mess last night. But I will always be in my heart doing everything for the goodness for other people, and I will always stick by that, no matter what.
Well, definitely could not commend you more on stand up and doing that, and I'm sure that the charity and the community is forever grateful for what you do. Z, do we have a voice question coming up?
We do have a voice question from Eric.
Oh god.
Oh, all right, Eric, pop on. Let's hear it.
All right, I'll ask you the very obvious one. You have one opportunity to do a segment, a storyline with Allie. Are you a tag team or is it a rivalry?
Sugar. I think, given the fact that it's the Banshee currently taking over poor Ellie Christensen embers, I would have to say that Mother might have to put a bitch in her place and tell her to stop being a ooky spooky Banshee knockoff. So I would say probably a feud.
Wow! Wow! Just come right out and just say, "Okay, bitch, settle down."
Yes, like listen, like I am your mother. You will listen to me. You will stop being this spooky gothic bitch and actually act like my bloody daughter.
In which the Banshee would do what? Turn the lights out, everything goes black, and then everybody just disappears.
That would be something Banshee would do.
I would 100% buy a ticket to watch Banshee going through "It's Not a Phase, Mom." Storyline. I think that'd be great.
Just like how my RL grandmother thought that me being gay was a phase. Honey, I'm still gay, and it's been 16 years.
Your grandma thought it was a phase.
Yep.
Okay, so since you brought that up, I'm just gonna, because like I said, I don't know. Okay, so at what age did you realize?
Oh boy. I would definitely say when I was like 11. This is going to sound a bit odd, but I was always, when I was watching movies, I'd always just be like more drawn towards like the male characters in other ways. But when it came to like the female antagonists, I would be like more rooting for them. So I think I was back at the time. I knew I was a bit of a feminist. So I always, always was cheering on the women.
So basically, you related to the female villains.
Yeah, I related to more the females. Yeah.
Okay, you related to them. But at the same time, you're sitting there watching these movies where the female villains always end up in bed with the guy, and you can relate to that too.
Well, I mean, when I was younger, I wasn't thinking of that, but now, definitely when I was in my teenage years, when I'm thinking about the men, I'm thinking like, I want to be in that bitch's place.
Okay. Right now, biggest crush, real life.
Oh shit! WWE Wrestler Drew McIntyre. Instantly.
Oh my
wow,
God.
that was quick.
That was quick.
Mom.
Wow.
I'll share that one with you, honey. Oh my.
Okay. Biggest reason why?
Oh, biggest reason why. Have you seen the biceps and those thighs on that man?
I'm sorry, but I'm looking more like at Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Of course, Rhea Ripley.
Don't get me wrong.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on mommy.
Don't get me wrong.
Just
I mean, I'm allowed to be a bit naughty on this chat, right? In this podcast.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. I would happily bend over for Rhea Ripley to peg me.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Mummy for life.
Oh yes. I am with you on that one.
Oh my God! I don't think I was even old. I was not expecting that. I don't even know if I was old enough to hear that. I'm definitely not high enough for that.
I will say, I will relate to what I said. I am a bitch with no filter.
Wow. Okay.
Christy, I think we're just gonna all have to share on this one, sweetie.
No. Okay. Drew McIntyre, that man would take death by snoo in a way that I would happily take.
Oh my God. Okay.
You got BK speechless. That's hardly ever happened.
Listen, this is where I do a dab in real life. I just dab. Casually just grab my and be me being this box myself. Just casually grab my fan and just clack it because I did that.
Oh my god!
I've done my job. I've made someone speechless.
His pearls.
Yeah,
BK
I have done my job.
His pearls over in the corner there. Just.
And there goes our first strike on YouTube.
It's fine. It was 30 seconds before anything. NSW was said it's fine. We won't get monetized.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Sorry. I didn't warn you.
Okay. Now I'm really gonna put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
Biggest SL crush.
Drewski.
Oh,
No delay at all.
talk about no delay.
And he knows it.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm not apologizing. He knows this. I have said this multiple times. I would, but we don't. But we're good friends. But he's still my biggest crush and will always will be.
That's fair. I mean,
Okay. Okay. Why?
Oh,
And don't say look at his thighs because I mean it's SL. You can body shape.
you can buy them.
Yeah. Right.
Drewski has just been an absolute heart of gold. That man is, to me, he does not have a single bad bone in his body. He and I can relate to a lot of our stuff. Like, he's a singer, I'm a singer. There was even a moment when me and Drewski actually did a share cover with Tristan Fang and Neon, which I still have on my computer. And I've just bonded with Drewski so much. I'm just like, I wish you were gay. and he knows it, so he's teased the crap out of me. And in certain discords that we're in, that we all know we take pics. He does it to me deliberately. I'm like, you fucker, you know I want that, and you don't give it to me. Fuck you.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure
Well,
we are all not. I'm sure we all know a thing or two about taking of those sort of pictures that we're talking about on Second Life. We've all done that.
I have no idea.
Oh
what you're talking about. No. I'm totally in a. I haven't done a damn thing. Okay.
You can't even say the
Neon,
word.
are you the?
and on that note,
it did sound like that BK got his microphone hacked by either Tristan or Neon just then. Yes.
BK is rated R.
Oh, Chris. Yeah.
That'd be very. If I was
think
rated
after this episode, Emma, we might need an NSFW channel. Just
oh
saying.
my god! Right?
Oh god, what have I done?
Yeah, we're gonna need Casey to come in here and do the editing over things that we're not supposed to hear.
Oh, I'll rein it in now. I'll rein it in. I promise. Now I'll rein it in. I'll be good.
Yeah, rated in. Bet you. Oh my god!
I'm
I don't
trying
know.
to be good at.
I don't know where to go after that.
Well, you said the crush. You started it.
I know. I don't know.
Paul, help him.
Hey, he got himself into this. He's taking himself out.
I did. I really did. Oh my God! Never again speak to Sparkzy and go say and ever say this is unscripted.
This is not going to be a podcast when it comes to me. This is going to be a meme, a social media meme for me. This ain't a podcast. This is a meme for me.
And with that, BK, this is where you usually go. Okay, we're at the end of our podcast.
That's not all we can do right now. I think you broke me, not in a good way.
Oh dear! Whoops.
Wow.
Oh, well.
Oh, go ahead, Paul. My stomach's hurting. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You got
it? Wait. I got it. Okay, so I need to thank Emma Gray very, very much because a little bit earlier she put in there that she just checked our YouTube page and we're up to 49 subscribers.
49.
We get to that 50th and Paul has got a giveaway. So make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you let us know that you're liking what you are hearing from us. And also make sure that you can check out everything for our sponsors down in the description of the channel itself.
So as far as the giveaway, once we do hit 50, we're still figuring out a way to do it to make it fair for everybody. So just bear with us while we figure it out, and we'll definitely have that giveaway as soon as we hit 50.
Absolutely. Well, Sparky, we want to thank you very much for coming on. Wrong choice of words. What the fuck am I doing?
Oh, hold on, BK. I just heard that we are at 50.
Oh, are we?
We are at 50. We just hit 50.
I may have subscribed with a third account of mine.
So, all right, we'll figure that out this week. We'll figure that out this week, and
I
hopefully.
am seeing 52.
So now, let's just right now. We have we're a little bit of ahead of ourselves with as far as we have shows scheduled that have to be released where we are talking about the 50, getting to 50, and some of them that are going to probably be released on YouTube in the next week or two. So this week we'll figure it out. Just give us till the end of the week. We'll figure out a way to give do our giveaway. We talked about that earlier today.
Yeah. Now, since we did reach, I think we can probably go ahead and at least tell them what the giveaway is going to be.
All right, so we had 3. The first giveaway is for 50. We have 3 1,000 Linden gift cards for Mad P. That's going to be our first giveaway.
3 1,000 Linden gift cards at Mad P.
So we're going to look at 3 winners for $1,000 Linden.
Ah, yeah, right.
We'll have 3 winners in our Discord server. You have to be subscribed to our channel. You have to be in our Discord server in order to win. We're figuring out a way to do it randomly. Probably bring a bot in, something in the Discord to do it. So we'll do that later on this week. We'll announce when we're going to do the drawing and everything this week.
Sparkzy, apparently somebody had a crush on the Banshee.
Is this Chrissy by any chance?
Yes, it is.
It is
Oh, is it? Oh, that was a guess. Oh, damn.
Yeah, Chrissy.
I'm good.
Chrissy actually says that she had a mad SL crush on the Banshee, all because of how you spoke in the old English ways.
Well, if I may, just quickly then.
Sure. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead and tease her like Drewski does you. Go right ahead.
Thou art my beloved subject upon this dark dying night that the setting sun is upon thee.
I think Chrissy just got weak in the knees. I think she just fell out of her chair.
I think she may have just passed out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening in. Paul, you want to take us out?
Thank everybody. Thank everybody again. Everybody who's subscribed, I want to thank you. The giveaway instructions will be this week. You can check me out. Actually, I'm running late. You can check me out today here at Attitude PW. Check BK out at AVW Wednesday nights. And you can check Sparkzy out at BCW Tuesday nights, LPW Sundays, and when does Primal start, Sparkzy?
Primal is debuting their first show on Wednesday at 6 p.m. SLT next door to LPW.
And you heard it there. Check her out at Primal next week. We'll see you next week. Thank you again for listening. And there you go, BK. Take us out.
All right, everybody. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, get the word out about us. Help us get even to 100 since we've already got that half-century mark.
Yeah, we
will
100.
have more
Yeah,
and we will have more giveaways, and we're going to have more contests, and more announcements are going to be being posted very, very soon. So please make sure you're paying attention. You all have a great day, and we will see you all very, very soon.